San Diego State captured a share of the Mountain West title on Saturday with a convincing win over Nevada. Here to talk more about the Aztecs is Rafael Avitabile from the Daily Aztec newspaper. Rafael, how you doing?
Not bad. As you can see, I'm in sunny San Diego, enjoying the weather.
Awesome. So let's talk about Coach Fisher and his Aztecs. They're back in position for a run, possibly to the Sweet 16. How do you see things unfolding this year?
As far as the tournament, I think they'd be lucky to get to a Sweet 16 appearance. They're not playing their strongest ball. And I guess the season as a whole, even if you look back to last year, they kind of got a gift with their first two matchups in the tournament, and barely escaped one of them having to go to overtime. So I think they'd be lucky this time around to get that far.
Well, it's been a roller coaster season in terms of offense. J.J. O'Brien, it seems like whenever he scores, the team does well. But they really need Winston Shepard to come through, and it's been the same deal with him as well, up and down throughout the year. Does this team have what it takes to find a consistent note?
Well, I think lost in all of the craziness of the last couple games with Dwayne Poley coming back and forth and the seniors and that kind of thing, Winston Shepard has been playing pretty well, I'd say, these last couple games pretty consistently. And I'm one of the bigger Winston Shepard critics, so he's earned that compliment from me. I definitely agree. J.J. O'Brien is a guy who's stepped up, and when he does step up, it usually ends well for the Aztecs. But we all know that they don't have a go-to guy. There is no X-Thames on this team. There is, no guy that they can put all their trust in to get a bucket when they need it. So it's really a team effort when it comes to the Aztecs.
Yeah, team effort, and it seems like it starts and ends with Fisher because without a go-to guy, they still got a 24-7 record, and they still have a shot to maybe do some damage. If you recall, all the way back at the start of the season, they had a close encounter with Arizona, so they have the talent to maybe, make some noise. So you never know with this Aztec team.
If you ask a lot of people that have followed the Aztecs closely, including myself, I don't know if the Aztecs have yet to reach that same level of play that they were displaying over there in Maui. It seemed like, the BYU game, the Pittsburgh game, the Arizona game, they were playing some of their best basketball. And obviously it's early in the season. Other teams are still figuring things out. But they had a hot stretch, early kind of mid-end of this season. But I think, if they could get back even to that kind of level of play that they had in Maui, then things will be all right. And as far as Coach Fisher, he's definitely the brain behind the operation, but I personally don't think that Fisher has been as sharp as some might have liked him to be this season. If you go back to that loss at home, an ugly loss at home to Boise State, the first team who's beat them in Viejas Arena all season long, they were outscored 12, 13 points in the second half, and one of your best perimeter defenders, and Dakari Allen, when Dwayne Poley is out, he's one of your best perimeter defenders, played 1 minute. So Fisher elected to go with a guy like Trey Kell, in the second half, played about 23 minutes. He went 1 for 10. Obviously, you could probably guess he's putting him in there for some offensive, some firepower. He is a shooter, but with the way the Aztecs play defense, I think that putting in a good perimeter defender and causing turnovers and starting offense that way is almost as good of an option or a strategy with the way this team plays on offense.
Okay. Now with the Mountain West tournament coming up, the Aztecs will be playing against the winner of UNLV and refresh my
Nevada.
memory. Who?
UNLV and Nevada.
In Nevada. Okay. And obviously Aztec fans are hoping for a rematch with Nevada because that would be a cakewalk right through. Against UNLV, how have the Aztecs fared this year?
Well, they've beat them twice. UNLV is playing better as the end of the season approaches, or as the end of the season has approached. I think that none of them will tell you. Coach Fisher or the players won't tell you who they'd rather play, but I think in their minds they're hoping to get Nevada. It's the obvious choice, 7 seed versus the 10 seed. Nevada hasn't really shown anything this season. UNLV is coming on towards the end. and obviously the home court advantage at the Thomas and Mack Center, the venue for the Mountain West Conference tournament. It gets a little dicey there. I mean, if you go back to that just this last game against UNLV in Las Vegas, it was pretty close there for a while. They were going back and forth, trading off with the lead. So I think the Aztecs would definitely be happy to get Nevada again, but I don't think I can't see the Rebels losing to Nevada this time around.
Okay. Now give us one player to watch for over the tournament.
I'd say you'd have to go. The easy choice is J.J. O'Brien, but I'm going to look at Akil Quinn. If there comes a situation where they need somebody to get something done, it's been Akil Quinn this season. If you go back to the BYU game in the Maui Invitational, if you go back to their loss at Fresno, he was a main part of that kind of second half effort to kind of close the gap. He's been he's like I said before, he's no X Games, he's no super clutch guy. But if it gets down to crunch time in tournament play, and the Aztecs haven't had to rely on a last-second shot all season long, but if it gets down to that situation, I think you're going to Akil Quinn or J.J. O'Brien. But I think Akil Quinn, if he has the ball in his hands, is assertive enough to take on that last shot.
All right. And San Diego State will be back in action on Thursday. Rafael, thanks for joining us today, and go enjoy that beautiful weather behind you.
No problem. I might have to go to the beach.
All right.